I love the smell of mooping in the morning. You know, this is part of Thailand that it really does remind me. It really does remind me what a free country you're in, because you wouldn't have that in the UK, would you? Because of health and safety or some bloody bollocks about pollution and stuff like that. But over here, it's all about the people. It's all about what the people want. It's all about what the people are happy with. But over in the UK, it's all about what the bloody wealthy and all the people in their ivory towers are after. Pisses me off, man. I need to start doing like a podcast of some kind. I think with my live streams, people are going to listen to it as a podcast, but I need to keep it short and on subject and give my opinion on matters. With things like the economy and stuff like that, I've got no idea what I'm talking about. This headlight shit. What's this? Bin men. Yes, bin men. Proper men. You know, like they used to do in the 80s. and they travel around on the back of the wagon. Proper bloody man's work as far as I'm concerned. But the only thing is, health and safety has turned them into something they don't really want to be. If they had the choice, they'd be on the back of the wagon, because that's freedom, you know. I should start running. Should I start running? I don't mean now, because I'm on my bike. Start training for a marathon. Although I could just go and buy one and eat it now, rather than training for it. I know I ain't got an engine, missus, but bloody hell. You can tell all the people who come over here on holiday, they've got a beard. When I was in the UK, I used to be there at night, and I'd look at the weather forecast, and I'd look at the wind forecast and the humidity and the temperature, blah blah blah. And half the time I never used to go out flying. When I used to get to my flying field, if the wind was more than about 3 miles an hour, I used to shit myself all the time and think, well, I've got to change my landing side, or this side, or you know, that landing direction, what's it thing, because you have to land into the wind. So if it's anything above 3 miles an hour, I never used to go out. But over here, near enough, and I say 99% of the time in the mornings, there's no wind whatsoever. It really annoys me about the UK is you cannot get on with your own life. Somebody's always interfering. Somebody's always saying to you, you can and can't do that. And I don't, how's that happened? When I was a kid, the rules of the laws of the land were sort of an optional thing that if you don't follow them, you get into trouble. It used to be called, it was called common sense, and common sense basically prevailed all the time, and everybody used to use common sense. Well, nowadays there's nothing like common sense. It just does not exist because it's not common anymore. Nobody used to say you can't do that, but now everyone says you can't do that, and if you do it, then I will report you. Where's that come from? My argument about the UK in general is everybody's out to get everybody now. Where did that come from? I know what's happened is the government don't want a police force. They want the community to do the policing for them, so they can cut back on costs. When I was a lad, right, the police used to come round and batter the living shit out of you, and I learned to respect the police, and I do have a lot of respect for police. That's the job of the police. The policing job is the job of the police, not the community. But now the community is basically going around and saying, oh, f*** you, I'm going to report you. If you do something that I don't like or I don't agree with, which is basically everything, and especially things that they can't do, or the things that make you happy, I'm going to report you. In the future, I think I'm going to have to use a bloody code for, like, illegal immigrants, because people get offended by that if I say illegal immigrants. And that's exactly what they are, economic migrants. They're illegal immigrants. When they come to the UK or go to the UK, they're illegal immigrants. Now, I'm an immigrant over here. I've got the privilege of living over here, and I've got all the paperwork to prove it. And that's exactly what it should be. You should come into the country, not by a boat, You know, if I come in here over here and I buy a boat, they'd probably, no, I don't know what they'd do. But you definitely couldn't stay illegally over here.
I got up especially early this morning. Well, not especially early. I just woke up very early. I hope there's no dogs here. Yes, I woke up very early and I thought I'm going to go out and talk. So I'm here. I'm going to talk. So over in the UK, if you're on a really good wage, you probably lose half in taxes if you're above that tax threshold. Most people in the UK, they're on an average sort of a wage, and they live paycheck to paycheck, as they call it, month to month, and that's the way that I lived my life for a long time. I had a lot of outgoings. I didn't have a lot of income, and I suffered. Kids, when they go to university to better their lives, right? And they spend 5 years, maybe more, learning, going to university, buying all the books, buying all the coursework and whatever else they need. And then they get a job. They're paying about 25% in tax, national insurance, and then an extra 10% I'm paying back for what they borrowed. Now, I don't think usually, and I mean, it's only the lucky people or the gifted people or the people with rich parents who've got some influence. I don't think the kids get into the job that they want. So they'll then spend, I don't know how long, working, doing a job that they don't really like, paying 10% of their income back to the government for a loan. And I'd like to know how many graduates feel like they've been given back what they actually put into it, what they started out with, the money they borrowed for the books and the coursework and everything else. How many graduates, sincerely, how many graduates actually feel like they've got the right job? I mean, kids in general are suffering with anxiety and depression, and some of them are put on a critical waiting list because they're an at-risk sort of a person, a kid. And then it takes, and I know this, it takes 18 months for them to actually do anything about it. When I left the UK, I was suffering with depression, but it was situational depression. I don't suffer with it over here. And the doctor said to me, I'll put you on a list. It's critical, so we'll get you in there within 2 or 3 days, right? They didn't phone me. Somebody phoned me up after a week from the NHS saying, can I ask you a few questions? And they were going on about me depression, anxiety and stuff that I was suffering with. And that was it. Now, but when I left the UK, I phoned the NHS, I phoned the doctors, I phoned everybody up, and I said, I'm leaving the country. Oh, okay, no problem. I've had text messages off the doctor asking me to fill in a form prior to my forthcoming appointment with a specialist about my back. That's something completely different. I've had the NHS phone me up about my back. I've had the NHS phone me up about depression. I've been here 12 months now, over 12 months, and this critical waiting list is now well over 18 months before I've not heard of anybody. And I told them, don't phone me because I'm going to Thailand. But they still bloody phone you. The things that annoy me is the Labour Party and their manifesto. They actually said that they're going to rebuild Britain's reputation. So to pay for all that, to pay the billions of pounds that they've actually sent out of the country, not kept in the country, they've taken away winter fuel payments from people. And people are dying. People are dying. They don't care. British kids of today are living a lie. They're told to better their lives, although their lives aren't really good to start with. They're living with depression, they're living with anxiety. They pay back 10% of their wage. And they're told that Britain, England, wherever, Britain is the best place on earth to live, one of the best countries on earth. But what happens is, when they start growing up and they're being an adult, like in their early 20s or something like that. They constantly think that they can't afford a house, because they can't, because the prices are going up so much and wages aren't going up in comparison. So they've got nowhere to raise kids. So they don't even think about dating anymore, which means that they stay with their parents a lot longer. It's just a vicious circle. It's never going to end. This shit will never end. Oh no, shut up. No need for that. I left the UK now and I live in a country, obviously in Thailand, I live in a country where the government does things for the people and not for people outside of this country. If they've got excess money, they might give it to somebody else. But if this country needs sorting out, there's a problem, it's spent in this country and it's given back to the people. The people who've given to the country get rewards, and the immigrants like me, I get nothing. Although I contribute rather a lot to this country, I contribute financially to this country, I get nothing back, and I don't expect anything back. I've been given paradise to come and sit here in the morning. The ability for me to sit here and just enjoy the scenery is just, it's beautiful, and there's nobody around, and I can sit here and talk to people. No, you're not people. You're thousands of people. I'm not. I don't know what I'm talking about. In the UK, I had a Ford Focus, and my car tax, my road tax, was £20. It's now £195. That's a 975% increase in car tax in 12 months. If you want the same car tax over here for the same size car is £38. And that's the way it's been. And it'll increase slightly next year. It might. It increased last year slightly, and there's a massive butterfly is going to come and try and land on my face again. Things like my car insurance. Now I have actually I've done all I've done the figures on the insurance companies and everything else. My car tax in the UK was 225 quid, I think it was, last year. This year it's £345, and that's about 65% increase or something like that. Over here for car tax, car insurance, it's £15 for your compulsory third-party insurance, and then you can get fully comp insurance for 86 quid. That's 100 and something quid, just over 100 quid, as opposed to 3, 4, 5, nearly £600 for the same car in the UK. And the other thing, this is going to shock a lot of people. People going about the pay difference over in the UK and over here. People are on a lot less wage. Of course they bloody are. It's a different country. I don't understand why people even feel the need to speak about that. But I'll shock you now. Now, I think the UK, from what I remember, was 34,900. This is only in the cities, not outside the cities, in the cities. It was something like about 34,400 or 900, I can't remember. But over here in the cities, the average wage is £17,700 a year. Or the equivalent, obviously. But over here, people live on nothing. The outgoings are a hell of a lot lower. Financially, Thai people are on a lot more money than they are in the UK. People talk about poverty, and yes, there is. I'm going to say the word poverty. There is poverty over here, but poverty is actually a Western thing. It's a Western world thing, and it is invented so as people can say that I'm in poverty. That's all. But over here, poverty does not exist. I've got my phone here, right? I'll read you a few facts, right? Over here, electric is 252% less. Car insurance is 401% less. 401% less. Car tax is 513% less. The wage over here is 50.6% less than it is in the UK. But to live over here is 7 times less. So it makes, I think I worked it out, I haven't got it on here, but I think I worked it out that that Thai people, they make 7 times more money with regards to, I don't know what I'm talking about here. The grass is always greener, and what you've got to bear in mind is you're going to think about all the things that you've left behind. But they're not memories, those cravings. The cravings actually ease, but you do hit a brick wall over here when you come over, and it's usually between 2 and 3 months. You do hit that wall. I miss my family, I miss my friends, and blah blah blah. But if you can get through that, it does become a lot easier. And don't get me wrong, I still miss my mum like crazy, but I call her every single Sunday. And because technology's brought us closer with video calls, then I don't feel as bad being over here. I just feel like I could be up the road. It doesn't matter. If you come over here to retire, I recommend that everybody comes over here on a 3-month stay with a view to go back to the UK. Now, you can stay over here for 3 months, it's not a problem. But what you've got to do when you come over here first is always remember where you came from. And always remember the good and the bad that you see about the country when you first arrive. If you remember where you came from and you remember all the good and the bad, you can better judge your decision about retiring here. I'm quite literally in the middle of nowhere, and then you've got a monastery here, which is apparently permanently closed. But nobody comes here really. You might get occasional people coming around feeding the dogs, because there are wild dogs around here, so you have to be careful. But otherwise, it's just me looking at this scenery. This should be a B-roll, shouldn't it? Looking at this scenery and being just with nature, listening to the morning chorus. The morning chorus here is definite. There is nothing about this country that I dislike. Absolutely nothing. I jumped through hoops to get my visa, but I expect to do that. I'm treated like a third-class citizen, but I'm still treated better here than I was in the UK. The government in the UK are doing things at an astronomical level that people don't agree with, and everybody's just letting it go. You know, united we stand, divided we fall, but the thing is, nobody's prepared to stand anymore in fear of going to prison. So if somebody says we're having a big bloody meeting and we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do the other, and we're going to show them what we really mean, well, as soon as you repost that, you get arrested and sent to prison. Oh, it's like Oxford and bloody Cambridge all over again, isn't it? Oh, he said something nasty about me, so go and arrest him and just take him into prison, will you? And that's the way it's going. And they've done it to the rest of the country now. You get an immigrant that goes into the UK and decides to do something really, really bad. What they do is they walk in there and they arrest the white man. Oh my God, what's happening to the UK? Why? Why are you still there? Why aren't you here? I mean, look here, right? They've even got a bike park where you can park your bike. And I'll tell you now, if you came here and you parked your push bike here and you wanted to go and stand there and have a look at that, you can leave it there unlocked, and nobody, even if there were a load of people here, nobody would touch it, because it's your property. It's your property. It belongs to you. It doesn't belong to anybody else. So why would they take it? The only people who take things over here are the bloody Westerners, or the Farangs, as they call them. Do something with your lives. Don't be that bloody. I don't mean this in a bad way, but don't be that bloody sheep. Don't be that person who sits in the UK and thinks, "Oh, this is a really, really bad place," like I did. I'm really want to talk because I did it for years and years, and I didn't see any way out of it, and it did make me depressed. And I reckon probably it's got to be in the bloody 80% of people who are actually taking tablets for depression. They don't need them. As I was, I stopped taking my tablets with no ill effects. I don't know. I ain't got a chemical imbalance. It's situational depression, and over here, it's gone. I don't suffer with it. I haven't even come close to it. I wake up every morning, I'm happy to be alive. I look out the window and I see sunshine, not dreary clouds and no frost. We haven't got heating because we don't need heating. Yes, it might be expensive. Well, it's expensive for me because I have to pay to get my visa done and blah, 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 blah. But I'm alright. Well, maybe not alright because I ain't going to run out of money. Oh, Patreon link in the description. I'm not pleading. You do it or not, I don't care. But thank you if you do. Don't sit there and feel depressed about the bloody world. Find a way out. Find a way that you can get away from the bloody country, because it's depressing and oppressing, and it's getting worse, and it will get worse. I can guarantee it. The things that I've said that would come true, going back 12 months ago, I said the reasons why I left the UK is this. The things that I've said come true, they've all come true. It's like I was told that I was absolutely stupid about, the UK will never rejoin the EU. What's wrong with you? You must have a bloody screw loose. And that comment's still there. And I said, it's got to happen. It's not a matter of if it'll happen, it's got to happen. And what's happening? They're rejoining the EU. Very slyly and very backdoorish sort of thing. But they're still doing it. It's going to happen. Believe me, it's going to happen. The Great White Replacement Theory, or whatever it was, or the White Replacement Theory, I don't know what it was. I always maintain that that's not a theory. I could see it happening. And then somebody said to me, oh, there's this theory. And I said, well, I thought that 12 months ago, 18 months ago. And it's happening. People are leaving the UK at an astronomical level. And they're getting away from it. Now, that's curing the problem. Because the middle class person, or the white person, or whatever, they are the ones causing the problem, because they know the system and they know that they can say things, but the government are taking away the freedom of actually saying things, the freedom of speech. It's been taken away from you. If you don't like something that's going on, you can't even voice it anymore. You can't sit in the pub. They're trying to ban it in the bloody pubs and shit like that. Oh my God. Where do you go to get rid of some frustration about all the illegals that are coming in, what the government are doing and everything else? Where do you go? You go to the bloody pub. And now they're saying that you can't do that because you might offend somebody else. That's what they're saying. There was a case not long ago where a woman was sitting in a pub and a bloke, there was two blokes sitting next to them, and they were talking about like the illegals were coming into the country. They were talking about it. And this woman called the bloody police on them because she was offended. And the police came and spoke to the blokes and said, can you not talk about that conversation? Can you not have that conversation in here, please? Oh my God. Over here, if that happens, the person who doesn't like it stands up and leaves. Not the people who... Oh. I'm a very happy person, believe it or not, because I'm not there. I'm not stuck in it. I over here, I get up every morning happy. I get up every morning with a smile on my face. I get up every morning wanting to go out somewhere. I get up every morning looking at the sunshine, listening to the birds, the dawn chorus, thinking about my future and thinking about how I can plan it. In the UK, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do any of it. And I wasn't suffering with depression. I'm not suffering with depression, should I say. So, over here, my future is superb. In the UK, I didn't have one. I never felt that I had a future. But I know Thailand will look after me one way or another. And everyone who says, what are you going to do? What's your plan B? I haven't got one. I don't need one. I don't care about it. Something will happen. I know something in my life will happen. If you're living for today, or you're even living for yesterday, then you've got no future. You have got no future. But I live for tomorrow now. I might not live for the day after because I don't know what's going to happen the day after, but I can plan what I'm going to do tomorrow. You can't do that in the UK because it's pissing down, it's icy, snowing, everything else. Oh dear. I've got a lot of sympathy for the people who are trapped, who are genuinely trapped. I haven't got sympathy for the people who feel trapped and they've got a way out. If you've got a way out, just get out. Otherwise, stop bloody complaining about it. Where's the mango tree? There's got to be a mango tree close. There usually is. You go and pick fresh mangoes off a tree and nobody will say anything to you. I hope the people in the UK who want to get out, I hope you do get out. Now, I'm going to do it again. I've done it before. I've said it before, and I will say it again. I'm going to leave my email address in the description. It's Thailand.staff.uk, but it will be in the description. If you go down there, drop me an email and just say that you feel, or you are trapped. No, you feel trapped and you need a way out, and you need to find out exactly everything about Thailand, and I'll get back to you. I'm not saying I'm going to get back to you straight away because I've got a lot to do. Patreon, you get a lot more for your money basically, because you're not paying anything because this is free, so you can go and kiss my ass. But if you're on Patreon, I'm doing all the build videos, and they are a couple of months in advance, and they're uncut, and also I'm putting all the pricing of what I paid for everything and how much it's all costing. So if that's what you want, just go over there. It don't cost a lot. It's just to help me out, that's all. Because I'm going to run out of money. Yes, my savings have gone down, but it's not a bad thing. If you want to come over here and retire and do absolutely sod all, then you can for relatively little money. So just get your ass into gear, drop me an email, and we'll see where we go from there. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, come back for more, come back for more. And I wish everybody all the best in life. I hope that everybody gets what I've got. I live in paradise, and I live amongst beautiful people with such a smiley, happy sort of approach to life, and their future is always bright and it's always orange. Anyway, I'll bid you farewell, and I'll catch you in the next one. And I'd like you to remember that life is definitely worth living on this measly earth. All you've got to do is get out there, do what makes you happy, do what makes you smile, and bollocks to what anybody else thinks.